leadership has also recognized this fact. In his recent testimony before the Senate, General David Petraeus was asked if he believes that Iraq affects the overall war on terror. His response was clear and unequivocal. Quote, "I do, sir. Clearly, there are elements of the greater al-Qaeda network of international extremists that want something very different than the Iraq that most Iraqis want, and want something very different in that region and in the world." Close quote. Many mistakes have been made as our military, unparalleled in conventional strength and maneuver, has changed strategy and tactics to fight the counterinsurgency battle. In response to the frustration at the lack of progress felt by those in Iraq and at home, the American military demonstrated its greatest strength, the ability to adapt to new conditions on the ground and develop new strategy. To those who have lived and studied the art of military strategy and tactics, the plan we debate this week, developed by American commanders in Iraq and here at home, represents a fundamental shift. In a study updated last week, Anthony Kordsman from the Nonpartisan Center for Strategic and International Studies declared that, quote, "Much of the criticism of the new Bush approach has been unfair. The new strategy is considerably more sophisticated and comprehensive than the details the President could fit into his 20-minute address, or I might add, Mr. Speaker, that I can include in this 10-minute address. Resuming, it combines political, military, and economic action in ways that do offer a significant hope of success. But rather than acknowledge the comprehensive nature of the new Baghdad and Al-Anbar security plan, opponents prefer to ignore the pleas of General Petraeus to provide him with the troops necessary to turn the security situation in Iraq's capital city around. Instead, they pat him on the back, wish him Godspeed in his endeavor, and then promptly move to deny him that which he has requested and needs to succeed. As a Vietnam veteran, I cannot in good conscience watch as Congress once again undercuts the morale of those in uniform. I will not stand idly by and watch others resurrect the ghost of that painful conflict, and we have heard it resurrected many times this day, Mr. Speaker, without acknowledging the slaughter and humanitarian disaster that resulted from the fall of Saigon. And it was a humanitarian disaster. Millions died. Just as in 1974, decisions we make today in this body will have consequences for entire nations and generations to come. History stands ready to judge the wisdom of this body, its ability to learn from past mistakes, and its ability to comprehend the ramifications of its actions. In spite of countless warnings, I fear we will come up short in the eyes of posterity. Opponents call for the administration to heed the advice of its generals, only to reject the commander's pronouncement when such statements are at odds with their own misguided perceptions. They criticize the cherry-picking of pre-war intelligence and then proceed to do just that while reading the most recent national intelligence estimate, choosing to ignore the dire warnings of the intelligence community's most authoritative written judgments on national security issues. But to those who criticize this new security plan and offer no solutions for success, only demands for capitulation, we must demand that they answer a vital question they choose to ignore. What will happen if the Iraqi government does not succeed and we withdraw prematurely? One critic of the administration's handling of Iraq, a very vocal critic, and a man who I knew and admired throughout my Marine Corps career, retired General Anthony Zinni, the former commander of Central Command, spelled it out bluntly when he noted that, quote, "We cannot simply pull out as much as we may want to. The consequences of a destabilized and chaotic Iraq sitting in the center of a critical region of the world could have catastrophic implications." The recent National Intelligence Estimate was even more specific in its analysis. If the United States were to withdraw rapidly, the Iraqi security forces would likely collapse, neighboring countries might intervene openly in the conflict, massive civilian casualties and forced population displacement would be probable, and al-Qaeda in Iraq would attempt to use parts of the country to plan increased attacks in and outside of Iraq. It seems pretty clear to me, Mr. Speaker, what we're debating here is success or failure. Let's not support that catastrophe. Let's not promote a humanitarian disaster, which is almost unimaginable. Let's support success in Iraq. Let's support the new commander in Iraq and give him what he needs to succeed in this mission. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield back.